Hello again, you're tuning into VTV News live from Hanoi. I'm Thuy Zeung with the latest news headlines. Activities take place across the country to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Southern Liberation and National Reunification. The 26th ASEAN Summit concludes as nations discuss maintenance of peace and stability. And later on, we'll take a look at the Hue Traditional Crafts Festival as it kicks off, attracting quite the crowd. On the occasion of the 40th anniversary of Southern Liberation and National Reunification, leaders of the Party, State, and Vietnam Fatherland Front laid a floral wreath and paid tribute to President Ho Chi Minh at his mausoleum in Hanoi this morning. 40 years ago, the general offensive in the spring of 1975, with the historic Ho Chi Minh campaign at its pinnacle, ended successfully, leading to the reunification of the country. The event was a turning point in the nation's history, opening a new chapter of national independence and socialism that President Ho Chi Minh had always hoped for. The leaders also paid their respects at the War Martyrs and Heroes Memorial on the very same day. Also in activities to mark the 40th anniversary of Southern Liberation and National Reunification, a flag-raising ceremony was held at the Hien Leung Binh Hai historical site in the central province of Quang Tri. And this also took place this morning. Now, the Hien Leung Bridge crossing over the Binh Hai River was once the site of the 17th parallel that once divided the nation and witnessed fierce fighting. In the Great Spring Victory of 1975, the bridge then became a symbol of unity, reunifying the north and south of Vietnam. The flag-raising ceremony, an annual event, is a chance to honor the sacrifices made by people throughout Vietnam and the country's traditional historic values. It also aims to uphold patriotism and unity in the locality and celebrate the great achievements that the nation has made since national reunification. Henri Martin is a French peace lover and a close friend of the Vietnamese people. He recently passed away in Paris on the 17th of February at the age of 88. He had fought for peace in Vietnam during the war and then participated in many charitable activities here. Despite his age, Martin continued his support for Vietnam and promoted friendship between the two countries. We'll get a chance to find out more about this special friend of Vietnam in the following.
Henri Martin was sent to Indochina in 1945 as a sailor to reconquer the colony. He quickly recognized the truth about the invading French colonists and sympathized with the Vietnamese. Afterwards, he returned to Toulon, where with local communists he engaged in propaganda activities at Toulon Navy Base, distributing leaflets encouraging sailors to demand a complete and immediate cessation to hostilities in Indochina. The military police arrested Martin on March 13, 1950 for complicity in sabotage. On October 20th, he was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. When he was judged to have gone against his own country, Martin replied that he was protesting because he was loyal and faithful to France. The war in Vietnam would lead to despair and the destruction of a people. Martin also opposed torture and napalm bombings in Vietnam. He received a lot of support from politicians and poets, including Nguyễn Thi, who composed poems about him. After being released from prison in August 1953, he continued to be active within the French Communist Party and became one of the party's leaders. He fought for peace in Vietnam during wartime and then participated in activities for victims of Agent Orange Dark Sin and the poor in Vietnam, as well as friendship between the two countries.
Henry Martin's actions were important to the Vietnamese victory. His work encouraged anti-war movements in France, as well as French peace lovers to take action for peace.
Henry Martin was a founding and active member of the France-Vietnam Friendship Association since its establishment in 1961. In January 2003, he was given the Vietnamese Foreign Ministry's insignia on the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the Paris Peace Accord to end the war and restore peace in Vietnam. In the final days of his life, he was still taking part in his activities to support Vietnam, especially victims of Agent Orange, Dioxin.
Over 50 years have passed since the Ho Chi Minh Sea Trail was first established back in October of 1961. Across this legendary route, many ships overcame typhoons and strict blockades to successfully transport thousands of tons of weapons, food, and medicines to supply the Southern Front, contributing greatly to the Great Victory in the spring of 1975. In the next report, we follow the veterans who joined the ships to relive their memories.
On the 11th of October 1962, the first no-number ship left Ward K-15 in the northern city of Hai Phong. Many more were to follow, sailing down the legendary Ho Chi Minh Sea Trail during the war in Vietnam. Liu Dinglung was one of the first soldiers from the north to participate in these missions. He once joined a ship which carried 42 soldiers and 4 rare torpedoes to the Southern battlefield.
After the ship C-143 was discovered by the enemy in Vũng Rô in February 1965, we had to change our plans, forcing the fleet to use different routes to transport the 4 important torpedoes to Cà Mau successfully. When we harbored, other soldiers had to use mangrove trees to make special disguise tools to transport the torpedoes to other small boats. Later, we knew that the torpedoes successfully knocked out a very large capacity ship.
During 14 years, from 1962 to 1975, nearly 2,000 no-number ships harbored successfully, carrying 150,000 tons of weapons, technical equipment, and medicines from the north to assist the south. The ship also transported over 80,000 soldiers back and forth between the two regions.
During the period, many journeys were so difficult at the beginning. Sometimes at midnight, we had to turn the lights out and paint the ship into a different color or change some details so the enemy would not recognize us. The enemy even used chemical toxins to kill trees, so we could not hide our ships and weapons anymore. However, during the 10 years, when I was active in the Naval Brigade 962, none of our ships was caught and we did not lose any armor.
Along with the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the Ho Chi Minh Sea Trail contributed to assisting the South to achieve a great victory in the spring of 1975, completely liberating the South and reunifying the country. Its operation demonstrated the will and aspiration for independence, freedom, and reunification across the nation.
Since the national flag was first adopted in 1945, it has been a symbol of national independence and an indispensable part of every national celebration here in the country. In the following report, we will visit a family who has been making national flags for over 15 years now and know more about their special stories behind this symbol of unity.
On special occasions like the National Reunification Day, Nguyễn Văn Phup's family in Thường Tín District, Hanoi, has got many special orders from all across the country. Today, his family is making a national flag which covers 54 square meters. The flag will be sent to soldiers posting at the northernmost point of Lũng Cú flagpole in Hà Giang province.
Making this big flag is not easy. It will be hung in spacious places under windy conditions, so we have to pay more attention to the four corners of the flag, so it can be more durable without any tears.
According to Phuc, he usually works with traders and rarely knows who his customers are. This is a handwritten letter by Nguyễn Viết Bình, a veteran of the southern battlefield during the war in Vietnam, now living in Thái Nguyên province. Phuc and Bình have never met each other, but the letter helped them to communicate.
It has been 40 years, but none of us veterans have kept a liberation flag that is half red, half blue, although it was a treasure item in the past. On the occasion of the 40th anniversary of Southern Liberation, we would like to order 3 liberation flags, and especially a national flag of 1.8 meters in width, to put on coffins of our fellow veterans.
I feel so touched when receiving the letter. We always tried our best to deliver the flags on time for veterans. Although we did not experience the time they lived, we really appreciate how they treasure the past, and their love for the country is valuable.
We still treasure the tradition of making embroidery products and national flags, though it's not a business of large profits, but it contributes to the society and the country. The tradition of making national flags for 15 years in Phuc's family is now running to his children's generation. He said that is a way for his children to understand and treasure the past, as the way he learned from Bình, the veteran that he has never met.
Coming up here on our live edition of VTV News, we'll take a look at the issues discussed at the 26th ASEAN Summit as it has concluded. And later on, we'll join in the Hue Traditional Crafts Festival as it kicks off, attracting quite the crowd. Do stay tuned.
Vietnam's varied charms are boundless. They will awaken your senses to astonishing wonder. From sight to sound, from smell to taste, you will be touched in ways you've never thought possible. Vietnam is so charming, one visit is never enough.
Welcome back to VTV News Live. The two-day 26th ASEAN Summit concluded on Langkawi Island of Malaysia on Monday, with the participation of leaders from 10 ASEAN member countries, including Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyễn Tân Dũng. The summit has taken place on the occasion of the 47th year anniversary of ASEAN's establishment. The summit also comes at a time when ASEAN is facing the challenges of maintaining peace, security, and development in the region. We have more details now to follow.
In his speech at the closing ceremony of the 26th ASEAN Summit, Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak affirmed ASEAN's strong progress towards the establishment of the ASEAN community by year-end. In his speech at the plenary session, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tân Dũng said that Vietnam has strived and achieved positive progresses in realizing the agenda for building the ASEAN community while fine-tuning regulations at home to deliver on ASEAN commitments.
The ASEAN Secretariat and other countries appreciated Vietnam's efforts in implementing its national commitments. With completion of 93% of tasks, Vietnam is in the top group in terms of implementing commitments in the most difficult field of building the economic community.
3 pillars of the formation of the ASEAN community include the ASEAN Political Security Community, the ASEAN Economic Community, and ASEAN Social Cultural Community.
Prime Minister Dũng said that Vietnam's remaining task only accounted for 7%, but the complicated part required much of integration. The Prime Minister stated that ASEAN needed to boost external relations by promoting dialogues and collaboration in effectively coping with economic and security challenges, including non-traditional security.
Vietnam has basically accomplished most of its commitments to preparation to join the ASEAN community. Vietnam is promoting public communication activities about the ASEAN community, as well as benefits of joining the community. In addition, changes of legal frameworks should be made, and new challenges of competitiveness should be also aware of.
At the 26th ASEAN Summit, current activities on the East Sea received significant attention. Prime Minister Dũng shared his agreement with the speech of his Malaysian counterpart. He also stressed the significance of abiding by the principles of self-restraint, not complicating the situation, and settling disputes by peaceful means, in line with international laws.
We want ASEAN. Recent developments have raised concerns about the South China Sea, and given the importance of its sea lanes to international trade, it is natural that almost any occurrence there will attract global attention. ASEAN must address these developments in a proactive, but also in a positive and constructive way. Respect for international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, must be the basis of the rules and engagement.
In a statement issued at the end of the summit, over 200 words are about the serious concerns in the East Sea. The ASEAN leaders' concerns reflected growing tensions which are affecting mutual peace and security in the region. Ministries of Foreign Affairs were urged to settle the issue through ASEAN frameworks, including ASEAN-China relations and other peaceful measures, at the same time as further strengthening consultations to build the code of conduct in the East Sea.
Big round of applause to all our 10.
Back here in domestic news, an expo showcasing high-quality Vietnamese products opened in Ho Chi Minh City on Tuesday night. This year's theme is being creative to increase enterprises' competitiveness in the era of integration, and happens at a time when ASEAN prepares for the formation of the ASEAN Economic Community at the end of this year. Attracting the participation of 700 booths from 200 enterprises, this is said to be the 19th time this annual expo has been organized. On the sidelines of the expo, other activities have taken place, including discussion forums, exhibition of new technological advances in line production, and new software. This expo will run until the 3rd of May. Now, during the holidays to celebrate Southern Liberation and National Reunification Day, Cat Lai Port is trying to cope with the high volume of goods during this holiday. So what measures has the Saigon Newport Corporation taken to counter this increase of freight at the seaport during this peak time of the year? We'll take a closer look in the following report.
Le Van Ho's company Vinatech imports medical equipment. The containers usually have to go through Cat Lai Port for every new project. Vinatech's reputation depends on meeting shipment deadlines, so congestion is an expense that they cannot afford.
Expenses include storage fees and logistics for staff every time a shipment arrives. Without support, heavy congestion would be inevitable.
In response, the government has introduced a more flexible approach to the processing of goods and become highly supportive.
As we cannot afford to expand the port, our solution is to remove empty containers as quickly as possible. This support has given us a major boost. Our products can now arrive on time.
Saigon Newport Corporation previously declined empty containers. and increased storage fees to encourage customers to receive their shipments before the holiday period. This increased the efficiency of shipment clearance from 59 to 65 ships. As of the first day of the holiday period, the congestion rate at Katlai port stood at 74%, under the 90% ceiling set by authorities. The port is expected to receive over 200 more shipments, with hundreds of thousands of containers in the coming days.
The Da Nang International Fireworks Competition 2015 took place last night along the banks of the Han River under the theme Da Nang Symphony of Colors. The event attracted large crowds of locals and visitors alike, with a combination of firework displays and music. The show is the country's biggest fireworks event. After 6 editions, the Da Nang International Firework Competition has won global attention, with this year's contest receiving coverage from channels like Star World, National Geographic, and the BBC. Also in cultural news now, the 6th Hui Traditional Craft Festival kicked off yesterday under the theme Quintessence of Vietnamese Crafts. The event aims to honor traditional crafts from all parts of the country, especially from the central province of Thừa Thiên Huế. This year's festival has also attracted artisans from several countries in the ASEAN region.
The 6th Hui Traditional Craft Festival is taking place from April the 28th to May the 3rd. The event aims to promote the city's socio-economic development and enhance business cooperation between Vietnam and other countries.
The organisation of the festival over the past 6 years has become more and more professional. The festival has helped promote the cultural and economic development of the city.
250 artisans from 34 craft villages are attending the festival this year to display their signature products and introduce their special techniques, skills and production processes. Collectors and artists are also visiting the festival to hold exhibitions, workshops and give artistic performances, while artisans from foreign countries have joined the festival for cultural and business exchanges.
We will have a fashion show of Japanese kimono made by Vietnamese artisans. This is great for cultural exchange between the two countries. Through the event, artisans from traditional crafts villages hope to raise awareness of maintaining and promoting Vietnam's traditional crafts.
The Hui Traditional Craft Festival 2015 is an opportunity to introduce the province's distinctive cultural traits to international friends. In addition, the festival also promotes craft recognition for Thừa Thiên Huế province, as well as Vietnam in the ASEAN community.
In the following, let's take a look at your updated weather forecasts. And that wraps up this edition of VTV News. We'll be back again at 6 p.m. local time today for another bulletin. Do log on to vtv4.vn or our YouTube channel at VTV4Go for more updated news. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye for now.